Literature review and critical analysis. Introduction. When researchers begin a new project, they first check what has already been studied or discovered about their topic. This step is called a literature review. In a literature review, researchers collect information from existing studies, books, articles, and other sources to understand the topic better and see if there are any gaps or unanswered questions. Then, they do a critical analysis, which means they carefully examine the strengths and weaknesses of what's been published to see what is reliable and what could be improved. In this guide, we'll look at why a literature review is important, strategies for doing it well, what a systematic literature review is, and how to analyze and combine findings. Importance of framing research. Framing research is about setting up your study in a way that clearly shows its purpose, background, and importance. Imagine you're trying to solve a problem in your community. Before diving into a solution, you'd want to understand everything about it first, right? That's what framing does in research. By studying existing information, researchers understand the context, they see what has already been found, what questions are still unanswered, and why the topic is important. Identify gaps, they figure out what information is missing or what needs more exploration. This helps them focus their research on something truly valuable. Set clear objectives. By understanding past studies, researchers can shape their questions and goals to make sure their work is unique and useful. Strategies for conducting a literature review. Search for sources. Researchers use academic databases, libraries, and online sources to find reliable articles, studies, and reports. Good sources are up-to-date, trustworthy, and directly related to the topic. Organize the information. Once they've gathered many sources, researchers categorize them by theme, topic, or importance. This helps them see patterns and make connections. Take notes and highlight key points. Researchers mark important ideas, arguments, and findings from each source, which they can later use to support their own study. Ask critical questions. While reviewing, researchers ask questions like, is this study reliable? What are the strengths and weaknesses of this research? And does it have any biases? This helps them understand each study's true value. Systematic literature reviews. A systematic literature review is a specific, organized way of doing a literature review. Unlike a regular review, where you might just read whatever you find, a systematic review follows a detailed plan to gather and analyze sources carefully. It usually involves defining the criteria. Researchers decide exactly what kind of studies or articles they will include. For example, they might only look at studies from the last 5 years or ones that used certain methods. Collecting sources systematically, they search databases and libraries in a very structured way to make sure they aren't missing any important information. Evaluating sources thoroughly. Every source is checked to see if it meets their criteria and if it is reliable and relevant. Summarizing findings. After reviewing, they create a summary of the main points, patterns, and gaps they found. Systematic reviews are often used in fields like medicine, education, and psychology to ensure that the information gathered is high quality and complete. Analyzing and synthesizing findings from existing literature. Once researchers have gathered a lot of information from different studies, they need to analyze, look closely at the details, and synthesize, combine different ideas, their findings. Here's how they do it. Look for patterns and themes. Researchers look for common findings or themes across multiple studies. For example, if multiple studies show that students benefit from hands-on learning, this is a pattern worth noting. Compare and contrast studies. Researchers look at where studies agree or disagree. This helps them understand if findings are reliable or if some studies have different perspectives. Identify gaps in knowledge. While analyzing, researchers also spot areas where there isn't much research. These gaps are opportunities for new studies to explore. Summarize key insights. Finally, they put together a summary that highlights the most important findings and issues from the literature. This summary guides their own research and shows why it's needed. Conclusion. In summary, a literature review and critical analysis are key steps in making sure research is grounded in reliable information and has a clear focus. By framing their research with a literature review, researchers understand what's already known, see where there are gaps, and set strong goals. Systematic reviews make this process more organized, while analysis and synthesis help researchers draw meaningful connections between studies. All these steps together make for well-informed, impactful research that can truly contribute to solving real-world problems.